Good morning. Happy Tuesday. And welcome to the Morning Reset Live. I'm Chelsea. So good to have you here. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, to subscribe, please, so you don't miss any of our lives, meditations, breathing practices, conversations. If you are in the right place, if you are a woman who is stressed out, overwhelmed, energy depleted, high functioning, and burnt out, this is the place for you where we slow down and we begin to feel better in the body so that we can live longer. And let's go ahead and settle into our space together this morning. Wherever you are, sitting down, lying down, come to a comfortable position, closing the eyes, taking one hand to the heart, one hand to the lower belly, and taking a few breaths here, noticing how it feels for your lower belly to be cradled, for your heart to be cradled, noticing the touch. And then direct your breath into the lower belly, in between the bottom of the pelvis and the belly button. And then directing the breath into the lower ribs, expanding into the upper chest between the heart and the throat. And as you exhale, letting go the upper chest and the middle belly and then the lower belly, all softening. So again, inhale, beginning at the lower belly, and then the mid and the upper. And as you exhale, softening the upper and the mid and the lower. A 3-part breath, inhaling the lower belly, then the mid, the upper, and exhale the upper, the mid belly, the lower belly, all softening. Doing a couple of rounds on your own of the 3-part breath this morning. Beginning to open up the different areas of the body, the different areas of your lungs. This 3-part breath, signaling to your nervous system that it's supported and safe. And then begin to direct the entirety of your breath to the lower belly, feeling the lower belly expand as you inhale and soften as you exhale. The lower belly expands as you inhale and softens as you exhale. Perhaps you notice the gentle weight of your palm cradling such a sensitive area, an area that holds the womb and the sex organs, safe and supported. In your mind's eye, think of a time where you enjoyed peace. Perhaps it's watching the waves at the beach, petting your dog, having a wonderful conversation with a friend. And notice the feeling that comes over you during this moment of peace. Inhale and opening out the mouth, and exhale it out. The lips remain slightly parted, bringing awareness inside the mouth to the tongue, to the roof of the mouth, and bringing your awareness to the right side of your mouth, to the jaw muscles, soften and relax, to the upper right roof of the mouth, softening. And then to the inner ear canal, to the exterior part of the ear, softening. And to the external muscles of the jaw, softening and peaceful. And then bringing the awareness to the inside of the left side of your mouth, to the left roof of the mouth, to the jaw, softening and peace. And the softening moves to the inner ear canal, to the outer ear, softening the jaw, softening and peace. Bringing your awareness to the right nostril, softening, to the left nostril, softening, to the whole lower part of the face is softening, breathing in peace and exhaling peace. Bringing awareness to the right eye socket, softening the right eyebrow, softening the right temple, softening and peace. Bringing awareness to the left eye socket, left eyebrow, left temple, softening and peace. Allow the forehead to begin to smooth out as the thoughts begin to smooth out. Inhale peace. Exhale peace. And allow this softening and peace to extend to each of the hair follicles covering your scalp. Allow this feeling of peace to come over the layer that covers your brain. And this feeling of softening and peace extends down to the tiny muscles in the back of your skull that connect to the back of your neck, softening and peaceful. The shoulders begin to soften down. And the whole entire head, hair follicles, ears, jaw, mouth, neck, all soften. Breathing in peace, exhaling peace. A feeling of peacefulness. Just consumes the entirety of your scalp, neck, shoulders. And we'll begin to open up the eyes wherever you are. Taking a few moments to move the eyes from right to left, up, down, right, left. Begin to take in the colors, the light around you. And then begin to make some gentle movement in the fingers, the arms, maybe the head moves a little bit. We slowly begin to come back into your body. So let me know how that felt for you in the comments. I felt it was really wonderful this morning and a great way to get started. And we're in the thick of it in summertime now, right? And I've been thinking that yoga, Ayurveda is all about awareness when we really distill it down. And awareness is the beginning of all change, right? If we're not aware of something, then we can't begin to change it. And so I was thinking about this because as we're in summertime, I have noticed myself become a bit more irritable, have a shorter fuse. I've noticed that the foods I'm eating are sitting a little bit heavy in the belly. And so as I've begun to become more aware of this, I was like, we're in the middle of summer. I need to make some changes to my daily routine so that I can begin to counteract, bring back into balance what's beginning to get out of balance, what's beginning to become a little bit overheated from spending too much time in the heat outdoors, eating too much fabulous food, right? And so, I've done that. I've begun to drink a little bit more green juices for breakfast, and then having a very light lunch, and then a very light dinner. And I'm starting to feel myself come back into balance. And it made me remember this term in yoga called brahmacharya. It's in the Yoga Sutras, and sometimes it gets translated as abstinence or celibacy, but it really is moderation. Brahma, which translates to the source of all that is light, and charya, which is the conduct of right action, right? Brahmacharya. So the conduct of moderation. And when we begin to get out of balance, I think that's when we begin to get away from what is moderate, what is all that is moderate in our life. And I was also remembering that, excuse me, I'm still overcoming like this cold and laryngitis that I've had. This idea that our body is a temple. I think we've all heard that phrase before. It's a temple of everything that's inside us. All the physical things, right? The organs and the muscles and the fascia and the blood vessels, all those things. But it's also a temple to the mind and the emotions and the breath and our energy. And we can become disconnected from our body, disembodied by excess in drugs, in alcohol, in eating, in indiscriminate sex, in shopping, right? All of these things take us further and further away from our body, from feeling inside of our body what's really going on. And then we can no longer feel our bodies. We can no longer feel where we are in space. We can't feel ourselves rooted down. We can't feel what's overhead. We can't distinguish where we are from side to side. And as we become disembodied, as we become disconnected, we also become more disconnected from the mind. And when we become disconnected from the mind, we can't feel our feelings. We can't feel what's happening in the body. And then so we reach for things to feel artificially. What do I mean by this? Well, we reach for things that's going to make us feel something because we've lost that internal tuner. And so we reach for things like the alcohol and the drugs and the indiscriminate sex partners and the shopping on Amazon and the overeating, right? All of these things artificially help us to feel something. But the more that we reach for these artificial feelings, the more we become disconnected and disembodied. And then you begin to see how the cycle continues. Because the more we become disconnected, disembodied, the mind becomes further and further disconnected. And then we begin to continue to reach for these artificial things. And all of these artificial things cause chemical imbalances in the brain to be disrupted, right? And as they become disrupted, they take us further and further away from balance. And I've just been thinking about this. Whatever your thing is, right? Maybe it's not alcohol or drugs. Maybe it's shopping or eating, right? To get that connection back into the body. But this is why it's so important to come back to our subtle practices, the practices like we did at the start of our time together. Breathing, meditation, prayer, time out in nature, connection with others. All of these things begin to get us reconnected into our body. And the more we become reconnected into our body, the more we begin to sense the mind, sense the emotions, sense how special we are. When we live in moderation, when we live in brahmacharya, it naturally leads us to ojas. Ojas is this Ayurvedic word that means vitality, this ooey gooey honey love that flows throughout the body, that flows throughout the mind, that makes us have this zest and this zeal and this love for life. It's our immunity, immunity to our life experience that might be less than ideal, also our physical immunity to disease and sickness, right? And so the more that we become disconnected, the more we lose our inherent ojas, our vitality, that which makes us so on fire for life, so on fire for feeling good and connected and knowing what we want and what we're here for. And so as you move through the rest of your day today, the rest of your week, the rest of this summer, perhaps begin to notice where you might be living disconnectedly. Or are there things that you reach for to be able to feel something? Maybe it's the shopping or the eating or the staying out too late or the alcohol, right? And do you have any practices to bring you back into your body? And it doesn't have to be something elaborate. Perhaps it is just one hand over the heart or standing outside in the sunshine or in the moonlight. Right? Even these things, 30 seconds a day, begins to bring us back into our body, back into balance, back into moderation. And the more we can begin to become back into our balanced state, the more that ojas begins to flow in your body. And so this is just something to sit with today. If anything comes up for you, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And I hope you have a wonderful and blessed Tuesday. I will see you all here again next Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe so you never miss a practice, a notification, a reminder of our lives on Tuesdays. And have a wonderful day. Be well and nourished. Thank you for joining me. Bye.